Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were up about 0.7 to about 1% on the back of better than expected economic data points as well as some indications coming out from the Chinese banks that the liquidity situation is likely to improve and they would support the stable market conditions. European markets too were up about 1 to almost about 1.75% as we had some statements coming out from the EU chief Mario Draghi that the accommodative stance is likely to be continued till we see some stability in the overall Eurozone economy. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, Japan is down almost about 0.8%. It opened with a positive bias, but it has turned negative. Even China is down about 1.3%, but the rest of the markets like Hang Seng and Korea are marginally up. So we have a mixed picture in the Asian markets today morning. Talking about the flows, friends, FIs continue to be sellers in the cash market. They were sellers to the tune of about 1286 crore. However, the domestic institutions were buyers to the tune of about 880 odd crore, and in the index futures, the FIs were sellers to the tune of about 575 crore. Overall, our markets took some support and we had a modest bounce back, but then in the last about 15-20 minutes, it gave up the entire bounce back and we closed pretty much close to about 5600 odd levels. Even the rollovers have been slightly on a lower side, which indicates that the overall bias in the market is a bit negative. And on that note, let me invite Sadhana to take us through important F&O cues, data and strategies that we can have in the F&O markets.
Good morning friends, let's have a view on derivatives. Yesterday the benchmark indices started the session on flattish to positive note. However, markets showed some resilience and recovered from the day's low on set of positive opening of European markets and recovery in Asian markets and on supportive gains in blue chip counters. In this period, we have seen for third day in a row market participants have accumulated their long positions as around 8.50 lakh shares were added in open interest and Nifty futures discount decreased to 0.80 from 2 points. Put call ratio also increased from 0.88 to 0.8889, which is clearly indicating put option has added more number of shares than call option. Like put option has added around 10 lakh shares in open interest, whereas call option has added only 0.68 lakh shares. It is clearly visible from the strikes of 5600, 5500 put option, and next month also 5500 had seen a good activity, whereas on call option 5600 and 4800 has seen a good activity in open interest. Ahead of future and options expiry, we may see market may remain volatile and uncertain. But from intraday perspective, one can go long on Titan with a stop loss of 225.50. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, SEBI has tightened rules for share buyback programs, mandating the companies to purchase at least about 50% of the offer size, failing which they will have to forfeit about 2.5% of the total amount. Also, they have made it mandatory for a company to put about 25% of the total amount earmarked in an escrow account and complete the entire buyback in 6 months' time as against 12 months' time, which was stipulated earlier. And SEBI has also eased the norms for investment by the FIIs to encourage FIIs to invest in India. So this is definitely a long-term positive for the equity market, but we think that in the current scenario, these steps may not have any material impact on the sentiment. In case of Neyveli Lignite, the Tamil Nadu has indicated that they are willing to buy Centre's 5% stake in Neyveli Lignite Corporation. And in case of Jet Etihad deal, some more negative news as the Civil Aviation Ministry has objected to the presence of more nominees of foreign origins on the board, and this would complicate the matter further. So some more delay is likely in this Jet Etihad deal, which would be negative in terms of sentiment for Jet stock. For the mining companies, some negative news as the Mine Ministry has said that they are looking at increasing the royalty from current 10% to about 15% for the iron ore mining. So some of the companies in this segment like Sesa, Goa, Sterlite and few others will have negative implications. And in another development, 3 companies, Sanofi, Novartis and GSK are in race to buy Elder Pharma's domestic formulation business. So one can expect some positive action to the elder pharma stock in today's market. In case of Strides Acolab, some positive news as the Competition Commission of India has approved the proposed acquisition of the Strides Acolab subsidiary Mylan, saying that the deal will not have any adverse impact on the competition. So positive for Strides Acolab, one can go long there with a stop loss of 841 and a target of about 884 to about 900. Aditya Birla Nuvo, some positive news as the company has approved the proposed application for the banking license. We have seen the Aditya Birla Nuvo stock correcting in the last about 1 week and it's close to an important support, so one can go long with a stop loss of 1012 and a target of about 1064 to about 1084. IND Vaishya Bank is looking at raising about 950 crore through a combination of QIP and preferential allotment. So it's again positive for IND Vaishya. One can go long there with a stop loss of 588 and a target of about 618 to about 630. And NTPC, some positive news as the company has resolved its public spat with Coal India over quality and payment terms. So one can go long on NTPC with a stop loss of 135 and a target of about 142 to about 145. Reliance Capital, some positive news as the company is likely to spin off consumer lending business into new entity and sell minor stakes in those companies to Sumitomo Trust Bank and Nippon Life Insurance at a substantial premium to the current market price, and this will basically pave the way for application of the banking license. So one can go long on Reliance Capital on the back of this development with a stop loss of 307 and a target of about 324 to about 330. And Bajaj Auto, some negative news as the workers at Chakan plant, which contributes to about 25% of the production, have decided to go on a strike for ESOP, and one can go short Bajaj Auto with a stop loss of 1836 and a target of about 746 to about 1708. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great trading session. See you tomorrow at the same time.